And a good morning to you and a happy Thursday for this February 14th. It's Valentine's Day and it's Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Eric Granstrom filling in for Dan Koontz for a couple of more days here on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. And I guess in honor of Valentine's Day, I'm wearing black. No, I like love. It's just, the rotation of the shirts kind of a thing. And somebody left a Valentine on the desk this morning, so I have a secret Valentine out there. Valentine's Day, the 14th of February, and February is usually cold, so we're trying to heat things up a little bit with some love in the air. We'll talk more about Valentine's Day coming up. We also have a look at news and sports and this obscure holiday. No, we're not going to talk about Valentine's Day because that's not really obscure. Something else that goes round and round and round. We'll talk more about that coming up. Also, last half of the show today, we're going to talk to some folks about the Janice Franz talent show happening at the Wenatchee High School auditorium. So hold on for that. As we get going for this Thursday, we have fair skies in the Wenatchee Valley. Let's take a look at our Valley View cameras thanks to Localtel's Sky-Fi wireless network. We're going to start things off way up in Pateros, above Pateros at Billy Goat. And there you can see the pink hue on the horizon. We're expecting clouds, though, to move in and snow later. In fact, lots of snow. We have a winter storm watch in effect for today as we get through the day today. But this morning, we'll enjoy the calm before the storm. Hello, Pateros, and further up the Columbia River there is Brewster. Hello, Brewster. Thanks for joining us here this morning. Brewster, the site of basketball. We'll talk more about that with sports coming up. Camera 2 this morning, we will slide it over to, this is just south of Wenatchee on Jump Off Ridge. And we hope nobody, I don't know why they call it jump off. I got to figure that one out. I don't know if it's a good jump off spot to get to the Stemilt Basin or a good jump off up spot to get to the Colocum. I'm not sure, but they call it jump off. And unless back in the day they had hang gliders. I don't know. Did the Native Americans do hang gliding? But there's the view from jump off this morning on a snowy morning and expecting more snowfall later on today. These camera views will change starting at about 10 o'clock this morning. Thanks to Sky-Fi Wireless Network for providing our camera view this morning. We'll go to camera 3 now. And we're looking at Turtle Rock from, now what's the official title for this camera, Megan? It's Orondo Rock, which I'm not sure where exactly Orondo Rock is. I think it's that giant bulbous rock that's right along the highway as you're heading up on Highway 2 and 97 towards Orondo, just before you get to Orondo. There's, I think, a house that's right by Orondo Rock, but that's our view looking down the Columbia River this morning towards the Wenatchee Valley and Turtle Rock. It's the centerpiece of that particular camera this morning. Looks like it's a little breezy out there as well. And our final camera view this morning, camera 4, is looking over Ome Gardens. Actually, Ome Gardens is off to the right, just over that knob on the right there. And you can see the Columbia River below and the Otavashan Bridge and Stemilt and the Wenatchee Valley in the distance. Sleepy Thursday morning. Everybody feeling the love this morning here on Valentine's Day? Well, we'll find out. I know you're not going to love this forecast because it has more snow in it. And thanks to, again, the Localtel Sky-Fi Wireless Network for providing our camera views this morning of the valley as we get you through a Thursday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley at 4 minutes past the hour. All right, let's talk about that forecast now from the National Weather Service. There is a winter storm watch in effect. In fact, it's a warning today from 10 o'clock this morning to tomorrow morning at 4 a.m. Expecting 4 to 7 inches of new snow here for north central Washington, including right here in River City. There you see it, 90% chance of snow today with 30 the high. The nighttime low tonight getting down to 25. By the way, our high yesterday was 27, and we set the record for a record low temperature in the early morning hours of 13 degrees, kind of a dubious record to set. Record high for today was 59, set in 1971. The record low, 14 in 1995. Sunrise this morning coming up in just a few minutes at 7:08, and sunset tonight at 5:23. And again, we're gaining about 3 minutes of daylight, extra daylight per day as we push our way towards spring. But yeah, with that forecast, we're a long way from any spring type weather. We'll see the clouds and snow showers continue into Friday night and Saturday morning. It'll shape up Sunday with a few sun breaks, mostly sunny on Monday, and then back to clouds and snow again for Tuesday and Wednesday. The real accumulation, though, with this winter storm warning in effect today, again starting at 10 o'clock this morning until 4 o'clock Friday morning. So nearly 24 hours of snow expected and up to 7 inches right here for the Wenatchee Valley. Again, we're starting off the day today with a little bit of an overcast condition. The cloud's not very thick right now, and our temperature in the Wenatchee Valley, 19 degrees officially up at the airport. The winds are from the west at about 8 miles an hour. We'll see what's happening in the mountain passes. It's a lot better than it was yesterday at this time. The DOT was able to finally get a handle on things on Snoqualmie Pass. So Snoqualmie Pass is open this morning. There is a traction advisory in effect. Snoqualmie Pass both open in both directions. They had it closed for over a day. It's partly cloudy, gusty winds, areas of blowing snow. Prepare for poor visibility in places, compact snow and ice on the roadway. Currently 19 at the summit of Snoqualmie Pass. But at this check, as of 6:55 this morning, right before we went on the air, well, there's you see the updated picture there from Megan at 7:03. That is open, and a traction advisory is all you'll find on Snoqualmie Pass. As we head over to Stevens Pass on US 2 this morning, there's a traction advisory as well with compact snow and ice on the roadway. Currently 19 degrees at the summit, and expecting more snowfall today, so be prepared for that. If you need to travel, get going right now. Now's the time to go before things really get socked in. As far as Blewett Pass on US 97, a traction advisory as well with compact snow and ice on the roadway in places. Currently partly cloudy skies, 14 degrees at the summit of Blewett Pass. So right now, we'll knock on wood, things are looking pretty good in the mountain passes if you need to travel earlier this morning. But again, with that storm moving in and more snowfall expected for the mountains as well as here in East Washington, it's going to get worse before it gets better. So if you need to go, now is the time, and you probably expect a lot of company after that roadway was closed for the most part for the last couple of days on Snoqualmie Pass, but it is open this morning if you need to travel east and west on I-90. That's a check of your forecast and the passes. We have news coming your way in just a few moments. Also, Mike Magnotti with his opinion. Everybody's entitled to it. Sports news on the way. Some basketball scores from last night. Some surprises in the playoff realm. And then we'll get you set up for the first part of the weekend as we look ahead to tomorrow night, including a game right here on the NCW Life Channel. And then, last half of the program, as I mentioned, we will talk about the Janice Franz talent show that's happening at the Wenatchee High School Auditorium. Night 1 was last night. Night 2 tonight, and the finale is tomorrow night. We'll be joined by Brent Grothe, the ASB supervisor at the high school, the teacher Brent Grothe, and then a couple of his students that tagged along, Lacey Wilson and Alex Toth, are going to join us in the last half of the program this morning. It's all right here on a Thursday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Happy Valentine's Day. Love you, Marion. All right, we'll take a break, come back. News is next on the Wake Up Wenatchee Valley.
My name is Hannah Peterson-Kinney, and I'm a certified nurse midwife. I became a midwife because I thought birth was one of the most amazing, beautiful things. It's about caring for women through many stages of life and helping to empower them with knowledge and build partners to improve their health. It would be an honor to provide care for you, and I would love to welcome you to the CVCH midwife family.
Hey everyone, did you know that the NCW Life Channel is North Central Washington's go-to source for news? No matter how you prefer to view your news, NCW Life has you covered. Watch the evening news weeknights on TV, stream it, read it at ncwlife.com, or catch the latest news by following us on Facebook. Stay informed with local news, sports, weather, and shows featuring local people and events. NCW Life, a reflection and a spotlight of the communities we call home.
Thanks for joining us on a Thursday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Eric Granstrom filling in for Dan Kuntz again here this morning as we are currently looking at cloudy skies, a winter storm warning in effect starting at 10 o'clock this morning. It's 19 and overcast in the Wenatchee Valley as we check your latest local news. Well, the weather certainly has had an impact on agriculture. Dairy farmers in the Sunnyside and Grandview areas were devastated by last Saturday's snowstorm. The Capital Press reports the freezing blizzard conditions resulted in the death of 1,677 cows at 10 dairies. The storm, packing gusts of over 80 miles an hour, forced cattle to huddle together for warmth. It's reported that many farms in East Washington have open air or open-sided shelters that leave cows exposed to the cold. Dan Wood, executive director of the Washington State Dairy Federation, said the losses could total $3.2 million plus future production costs. The farmers could be in line for federal disaster aid after Governor Jay Inslee's emergency storm declaration. Now, not only was it a problem for dairy cows, also this is the calving time of the year as well. So I think that toll may increase. Well, the Columbia Basin Herald reports another defendant charged in the murder of 31-year-old Jill Sundberg of Quincy took the stand on Monday, telling the jury he didn't remember much of anything that happened that night in December of 2016. NCW Life's Grant Olson has more.
27-year-old Mendez Villanueva has already pled guilty to second-degree murder in the case and is the second of two co-defendants to testify in the first-degree murder trial of Gustavo Tapia Rodriguez. Rodriguez is the alleged ringleader accused in the shooting of Sundberg 13 times in the back of the head and leaving her in a frozen parking lot off the old Vantage Highway. Mendez Villanueva reiterated in court Monday that after Sundberg was shot and killed, he plunged a knife through a cardboard sign and into Sundberg's back after she was deceased, but that was about all Villanueva said he remembered. He is currently serving an 18-year prison sentence as a result of his guilty plea, after which he will be deported. According to law enforcement, Mendez Villanueva, fellow co-defendant Albaron Verona, and Tapia Rodriguez are all in the country illegally and will consequently be deported at the end of legal proceedings. Grant Olson, NCW Life News.
Thank you, Grant. Well, legislation permanently removing areas within the Okanagan-Wenatchee National Forest from mining activities has passed a vote in the U.S. Senate. The bill is co-sponsored by Senator Maria Cantwell. The Methow Headwaters Protection Act is included as a part of the Senate's broad public lands package. Cantwell pushed for passage of the bill during a floor speech on Tuesday.
This legislation represents over 1.3 million acres of new wilderness, over 600,000 acres of wild and scenic river. It represents conveyances of land, but also taking land away from potential mining and development project, particularly in the state of Washington, in the Methow Valley, removing it from future mining and development. And it also continues to make investments in scenic heritage areas that are important to many parts of the United States of America.
Cantwell says the bill will protect the headwaters of the Methow River, which provides water to downstream communities and supports local tourism, critical salmon restoration, as well as ranching and farming activities. She said, quote, "We can't let destructive mining put that at risk," end quote. A bill introduced by 12th District Senator Brent Hawkins would allow PUDs to produce and sell hydrogen is expected to be approved by the Senate this week. Hawkins explained to NCW Life what it will mean if passed by the full legislature and signed by Governor Jay Inslee.
That bill is Senate Bill 5588. It relates to renewable hydrogen, and I'm not an expert in chemistry by any means, but if you take H2O and you separate out the O, then you end up with H2, which is hydrogen. And PUDs in this area have an interest in generating and selling renewable hydrogen at their hydro facilities. Producing hydrogen is a pretty energy or at least electricity intensive process, but some of the PUDs have found themselves in the situation of having additional electricity in the springtime in particular, because the wind is blowing a lot. There's a lot of wind and solar generation on our system now in the Pacific Northwest. And when the flows are high in the Columbia River, they either have to spill the water, which can be create an adverse impact for fish, or they can pay other people to take their power, and sometimes that's at a loss. And so PUDs want to utilize this surplus electricity that they have at certain parts of the times of the year to generate and produce and sell the renewable hydrogen.
In other news this morning, recent snowstorms has increased the avalanche threat in the mountains. Matt Promoto of the Northwest Avalanche Center conducted some tests that found what he described as a spooky snowpack structure and even some natural lowland avalanches.
Hey guys, how's it going? This is Matt Promoto with the Northwest Avalanche Center. Today I'm here at 1,950 feet on a northeast aspect, right above Wenatchee, on the Rooster Comb. Walked up a really low angle ridge. There's quite a bit of snow up here, 2 feet or even more on the ground in places. Started getting some whoops. One of them was actually a rumbling whoop. Quite surprising. Dug down to see what it was. Sure enough, there's a layer of large grained, sugary facets underneath all this new snow. So I'm going to perform an extended column test to demonstrate the propagation potential of this weak layer. All it took was just a few light taps from the wrist, and that thing propagated. PST 15 out of 100 went to the end. Man, sketchy.
Yeah, so Promono says if you plan to go in the mountains or the foothills, this is avalanche terrain. Get the gear, get the forecast, get the picture, and travel wisely. That is the word this morning. And yeah, it's all about how the snow, it's great to get all of this snow, but it's all about how it's layered. And if you have a layer of water or the crystalline underneath a big pack of snow, then that's just going to slide. And that's the problem they had up at Snoqualmie Pass over the last couple of days with the closures there. They've been trying to do all they could to mitigate the circumstances with avalanche control work, and we might not be out of the woods yet because another storm is on its way. In fact, a winter storm warning in effect starting at 10 o'clock this morning here for north central Washington and lasting until 4 o'clock Friday morning with up to 4 or 7 inches of snow expected here for the Wenatchee Valley. So we'll keep a close eye on that here on the NCW Life channel. If you have any news you'd like to send our way, if you see a traffic accident, yesterday morning was a mess on the South End Bridge, you can do so by a myriad of ways. You can call us directly to the hotline at 888-NCWL. That's 888-6295. You can email us at news@ncwlife.com. You can also message us directly on our Facebook page. And of course, our website is a wealth of information too at ncwlife.com. 18 minutes past the hour here for a Thursday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll take a brief break, come back, sports news, lots of basketball scores to pass your way. We'll do that on the way next here on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley.
Hi, I'm Kevin Prosser, and this is my print shop, Color Effects in Cashmere. Color Effects offers screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing on t-shirts, jerseys, bags, banners, signs, and more. With 30 years experience, you won't be disappointed with the quality and quick turnaround times you will get at more than a fair price. Please call Color FX.
When Mike leaves town, it's a little scary. You never know who might be outside. But we feel safer inside knowing our home is being monitored by a local company. I can check our alarm from just about anywhere. So when we get home, I know it's safe.
Protect your family and save money with a local company. Switch your current security monitoring to Guardian Services from LocalTel. Call Guardian Security from LocalTel now or visit localtel.net to learn more.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us here on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley at 19 minutes past the hour. Eric Granstrom filling in for Dan Kuntz as we check the world of sports this morning. The Entiat girls will play for the district championship after a 57-28 win over Moses Lake Christian last night. The Tigers will face Riverside Christian for the championship tonight at 6 o'clock at Ephrata High School. There you see Riverside Christian advancing with a 41-32 win over Pateras. Sticking with the Central Washington 1B tournament at Ephrata High School, the Entiat boys head to the consolation bracket. After a 56-37 loss to Riverside Christian, the Tigers will face Pateras today at 4:30 in a loser-out game. There you see the tight one there. Moses Lake Christian edging Pateris by 1 point, 67-66. The final in that one. Moses Lake Christian will face Riverside Christian for the district title tonight at 7:30. That's all at Ephrata High School. Things did not look good for Eastmont's girls team last night at Davis as the Wildcats trailed 10-1 at the end of the first quarter, 24-9 at half. But there you see it. Lexi Heimbigner connected on a three-pointer to cap an unbelievable Eastmont comeback to send it into overtime. And the Wildcats came out on top 44-41. Congratulations. Caitlin Cox led 3 scores in double figures with 13 points last night. Eastmont will play at Moses Lake Friday at 6 in the first round of the district tournament. The other score from a couple of nights ago had Eisenhower defeating West Valley 46-43. So Ike will travel to Sunnyside tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. Davis came out on fire with 31 first quarter points and never let up in downing Eastmont on the boys' side last night, 92-60 the final. Earl Lee led 4 players in double figures for the Pirates with 21 points. Preston Esparza also went off for 21 points for Eastmont as their season came to an end. Moses Lake also a winner last night over Eisenhower, 77-48. So Moses Lake will play at Wenatchee in the first round of the district playoffs tomorrow night. We'll have that live on the NCW Life channel. The other game features Davis at West Valley at 6 o'clock tomorrow. Of course, winners and losers will face off on Saturday. In the District 5-6 2B tournament, resuming tomorrow at Chelan High School and at the community gym, the Waterville-Mansfield girls will face DeSales in a loser-out game at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That'll be at the high school gymnasium. Lake Roosevelt faces Brewster in the semifinals. In the community gym at 5 o'clock, the other semifinal in the high school gym has at 5:30, pitting Liberty Bell and Tri-Cities Prep. Again, that game at 5:30. On the boys' side of the District 5-6 2B tournament at Chelan tomorrow, Manson will face Tri-Cities Prep in a loser-out game at 3:30 in the afternoon. That'll be in Chelan's community gym. Lake Roosevelt and Oroville will play in the semifinal at Chelan's high school at 7. Then at 8 o'clock in the community gym, it's Brewster and Kittitas and the other semifinal. Don't forget also this weekend, it's Matt Classic happening in the Tacoma Dome. That starts early tomorrow morning because they've expanded the brackets to 32 individuals in each of the weight classifications and each of the school classifications from 4A down to the Bs. So they've got 32 wrestlers in each classification in each bracket, so they're going to have to start early in order to get that wrapped up Saturday evening. You can go to our website and check out all the names of the kids from North Central Washington that will be participating in Matt Classic. They'll be taking off today, I'm sure, to get over there in time for wrestling tomorrow morning. Best of luck to the wrestlers and keep abreast on the wrestling tournament on WIAA.com. We'll also be sending out some updates on our Facebook page as well as Twitter. That's the latest sports news at 23 minutes past the hour here on the NCW Life channel as we're looking at cloudy skies and snow again today. I know you're tired of it, but more on the way. 7 inches possibly by the time this storm moves through. A winter storm warning in effect from 10 o'clock this morning until 4 o'clock tomorrow morning with that heavy snowfall. Expected also snow in the mountain passes, but right now just traction advisories on Snoqualmie, Stevens, and Blewett Pass. They are passable at this hour. All right, it's the 14th of February. I want to talk first before we get to the National Ferris Wheel Day. Sorry about that, Megan. I want to talk about Valentine's Day a little bit. Of course, the day when lovers express their affection, passing along greetings, gifts, flowers. The holiday has its origins in the Roman festival of Lupercalia, held in mid-February. The festival, which celebrated the coming of spring, included, now to get this, fertility rites and the pairing off of women to men by lottery. We've come a long way. At the end of the 5th century, Pope, Gelasius, replaced the holiday with St. Valentine's Day. It came to be celebrated as a day of romance from about the 14th century. In fact, Emperor Claudius Gothicus was the one who decided that we need to call this something different than what they had, and so he helped it out to get to be known as Valentine's Day. So, the more known holiday on February the 14th. Let's talk about the lesser known holiday on February the 14th. All right, now you can put that up, Megan. It is National Ferris Wheel Day, which seems kind of strange to have National Ferris Wheel Day in the middle of February when there's really not much as far as Ferris wheels you can find in North America, except for that one. You can find that one in Seattle on the waterfront. I don't know if you consider that a Ferris wheel. I guess it's kind of a Ferris wheel, but it's enclosed. But the idea is to put people in a big hoop and spin them around in circles. I'm not a fan of heights, So I'm not a fan of Ferris wheels, but today is National Ferris Wheel Day. And the reason why it is today is because it's the celebration of the birth of the guy who invented the thing. George Washington Gale Ferris Jr., a civil engineer, made the first Ferris wheel for the World's Columbian Exhibition in Chicago way back in 1893. Celebrating his invention today. The trouble, as we mentioned, not a lot that you can find around North America this time of year. Ferris wheels and snow really don't work well together. In fact, I don't know if the big wheel on the Seattle waterfront with all the snow that's been falling is operational. Somebody can text us in and tell me more about that. But National Ferris Wheel Day today. Celebrate it however you wish. Go up on a high place and look down and go, woo! 14th of February, let's take a look at what happened on this day in history. It was this day that the Valentine's Day murder of 7 members of the Associates of the Chicago's North Side Gang took place. It was known as the Valentine's Day Massacre. The men were gathered at a Lincoln Park garage on the morning of Valentine's Day, where they were lined up against a wall and shot by 4 unknown assailants who were dressed like police officers. The incident resulted from the struggle to control organized crime in the city during the Prohibition between the Irish Northsiders and their Italian Southside rivals, led by Al Capone. And reportedly, it was Al Capone that ordered the murder of these 7 men on the St. Valentine's Day Massacre on this date in 1929. It was on this date in 1931. Kind of interesting that Dracula would come out on Valentine's Day, but that was the case. The original Dracula, starring Bela Lugosi, was released on this date in 1931. The, I guess, one that started it all, vampire movie directed by Todd Browning and starring Bela Lugosi as Count Dracula, produced by Universal, the screenplay based on the 1924 stage play Dracula by Hamilton Dean and John Balderston, which in turn was loosely based on the novel by Bram Stoker. Dracula, released in theaters on this date in 1931. Yes. Oh. I want to suck your blood. In 1954, Senator at the time, John F. Kennedy, appeared on Meet the Press. Yeah, I don't know if you knew that Meet the Press had been around that long, but that was on this date in 1954. As Americans increasingly turned their focus on television to get their news and information, Kennedy capitalized on his good looks and captivating manner of speech to win the image war long before he declared his presidency his candidacy for presidency, and it began with his affection to television and America's affection towards him looking through the viewfinder on this date in 1954. One birthday to celebrate today that I could find in the scramble to prepare things for this morning show. There wasn't a lot of famous people born on this date, other than, of course, George Washington Gale Ferris Jr., celebrating National Ferris Wheel Day today. Also, the lead singer for Matchbox 20. You like him or you don't. That's kind of how it sits with Matchbox 20. He is 46 years young today, so happy birthday to Rob Thomas, the lead singer of Matchbox 20. That's a few things that happened on this day in history and birthdays and such. If you have something to share with us, maybe a celebrity birthday, you're welcome to do so. Again, you can send us those directly to our email, news@ncwlife.com. You can also do so through our Facebook page. Just message us directly, and we'll get it, and we'll pass it along here on the television set. We've got a weekend coming up, so if you know a birthday's coming up for the weekend, do that here in the next 23 hours, and we'll get it in tomorrow morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley for a Friday. Speaking of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, coming up next, we have Mike Magnotti. Everybody is entitled to his opinion. Also, our special guest in studio will join us. We'll have Brent Grothe from Wenatchee High School. He's the student body advisor, the ASB advisor, and also a couple of his students who've been working feverishly to prepare for something that started last night, runs through tonight, and goes into tomorrow. It is the Janice Franz Talent Show. Believe it or not, 22 years of these now have been going on at the high school, and we'll have Lacey Wilson and Alex Toth in studio to explain more about that as we continue on for a Thursday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Happy Valentine's Day. We'll come back with Mike Magnotti on the way next.
Antique Mall at Cashmere wishes you a happy and prosperous new year. With 15,000 square feet to explore, Antique Mall at Cashmere has something for everyone. For repurposing projects, do-it-yourselfers, and those with a keen eye for making something old fresh and new again, this is the place to find your next project. Antique Mall at Cashmere, their friendly staff is here to help you. Stop on by today.
Walkabout Grill, open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner in downtown Wenatchee and now downtown Leavenworth, where eating out is eating healthy.
Put winter weather in its place with a new Cub Cadet snow thrower from Rose Tractor. Hi, this is Corey. Let us help you get through the season with our line of Cub Cadet snow throwers. When it comes to snow, never let winter weather get in your way. The Cub Cadet X Series line of snow throwers offers 3 levels of snow clearing power and a host of award-winning models. Get ahead of the snow. Let us help you get into the right snow thrower for the job. Rose Tractor, family owned and operated, located at the corner of 3rd and Rock Island Road in East Wenatchee.
I'm Tom from Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. At Alpine Air, we think of ourselves as customer service oriented retailers. When you make an appointment, please visit our store, meet our people, see our shop. We are serious about heating and air conditioning. Carrier and Alpine Air are offering huge factory rebates and financing options for all your needs. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air. Call for your free replacement estimate. Heat and air, call Alpine Air, 662-6846.
What's your Automocha emergency?
It's a Frappuccino Mocha with whip.
The espresso shakes are my most favorite because I can get any flavor. Peanut butter chocolate for pita.
Definitely the espresso shakes.
My favorite is the mocha for pitas.
A peach Red Bull.
Since 1932, Camp Seneca, nestled on the beautiful shores of Lake Wenatchee, has provided children grades 1 through 12 with the ideal location for kids to learn new skills, have fun, and make friends while creating memories that will last a lifetime. Camp Seneca's rustic log cabins and their staff serve to provide each group a unique summer camp experience. Register for Camp Seneca today, www.campfirencw.org.
This is Mike Mad Dog Magnati, and everybody's entitled to my opinion. Now, I'm a regular churchgoer. Yeah, good for me, right? But sometimes I run into people who used to go to church, but they don't anymore, and I ask them why. And they often say something like this: I had to miss church for 3 weeks in a row, and no one called me to see if I was okay. Now, my response to them is, why do you think people go to church? They're specifically looking for you. Sure, it would be nice if we noticed other people or the lack of them more than we care about ourselves, but come on, really. Blaming other people for your deciding not to go to church is kind of lame, don't you think? This is Mike Mad Dog Magnati, and that's my opinion.
It's estimated that 1/3 of Americans do not have a financial plan. At D.A. Davidson, their advisors are working to change that because they understand the importance of planning for the future. At D.A. Davidson, they believe in partnering together to build a strategy tailored to your needs. They spend the time and have the knowledge to help keep your financial future on track. Let D.A. Davidson Financial Advisors of Wenatchee put the strength of advice to work for you.
Hi, Justin here, owner of Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere. Club Crow is your place for famous blues, brews, and barbecue. We are your one-stop bar and grill, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week. Looking for a fun night out? Join us at Club Crow Saturday nights. We have live bands to rock the night away. Club Crow is bringing comedy to Cashmere. Check out our Facebook page for upcoming dates. Live jam session first Sunday of every month. Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere, the coolest place in town.
There's no substitute for the power of cable TV advertising. With Solion Cable TV advertising, you can reach your target audience right here in North Central Washington. We understand their viewing habits and can precisely target your customers on great cable networks like these. Call Solion Broadcasting today and let us show you how to put your business message right in front of thousands of prospects at a very affordable price. Solion Broadcasting, 509-888-2020.
I'm Jenny Rojanasatian, and this is Grothe TV. Every week we will be bringing you a first look at North Central Washington business, tech, and education news. You'll hear from local influencers and innovators who live right here in the Valley. Together we'll discuss hot topics, current events, and resources that can support your business, our schools, and this community. Join me every week, and let's get inspired.
Welcome back to a Thursday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. It is the 14th of February, Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day. And with love in the air, we've got Brent Grothe here. I don't know why. I don't know if those two match or not, but Brent, good to see you. Wenatchee High School teacher, also the ASB advisor.
Yes.
So is it through ASB that we're having this conversation, or is it just you happen to be the guy that they said, hey, go talk?
It's through ASB. ASB
Okay.
students put this all together.
Okay, all right. I was in ASB, gosh, trying to think of the years now, 33 years ago. It's a long time ago.
Yeah.
But my advisor was a good guy. Not only did he keep us to task, but also let us have some fun.
You bet.
Is that kind of how you roll too?
I like to think so.
Okay.
I know they have a lot of fun. That's for sure.
Well, that's good. That's good. We've got a couple of your students here back behind the camera. We're going to talk to these ladies and certainly dress up the look of the set here quite a bit in the second segment. Sorry.
No offense. None taken.
But let's talk about Wenatchee High School now has been involved in this program for a number of years. First, what are we talking about?
We're talking about the Janice Franz Talent Show, and this is in its 22nd year.
That's incredible.
So it started back in '98, January of '98.
And it started back when, she was first diagnosed with cancer? Was it about then?
Yes, October of '97. I was teaching a little leadership class, and one of her students, a senior named Joey Sauer, he said, can we do something for Mrs. Franz? Because she had 3 cancers at the time, and she was going to go through stem cell, which is a real brutal treatment. And I said, well, what do you want to do? And he said, well, can we do a talent show? And so I asked the principal. The principal said, sure, let's do it. And Joey and a girl named Jody Roy put it together and started auditioning acts. And by January, we put 31 acts on the stage. We didn't cut anybody on auditions. We kept them all. And we had about a 2.5-hour show. It raised $11,000 at the door in donations.
Incredible.
Yeah, it was an amazing night. We turned away 300 people that night.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
so when it first began with that kind of money raised, where did that money go?
It went $17,000 in the end. It went right to the Franz family, Janice's family, because to pay for medical bills, that sort of thing. And yeah, it was significant for them, I believe.
So you knew Janice. I didn't get a chance to meet her. I got to know Greg after she passed away. Right. A great video that was put together here a couple of years ago, I think on the 20th anniversary of the talent show, with Greg talking about his wife, and I got to know her basically through that video. But tell me a little bit about Janice and why this name is still around and making such a difference even long after her passing.
Well, Janice herself, I mean, she was beloved by her students. There was no question about it. And that's why Joey brought that up. You know, he's like, she's my favorite teacher. And what can we do for her? And she was a DECA program, very successful at that, and kids loved her. And what happened is after the show, she actually cried for 2 weeks, her friend, Sharon Prim, who was her friend, a registered nurse. She said she cried for 2 weeks, but she said, I want to meet with those kids that put that show on. So we got together off campus at Tricia Hopkins' house, and Janice met with the kids, and she said, I'm so honored that you did this show for me. And she said, I have a couple things I want to say to you. And she gave them about 5 things, pieces of advice for life, like have friends, be nice to your parents, don't smoke, she said, because she wouldn't have been able to receive her treatment if she had ever been a smoker. So she told them, don't smoke, you know. Yeah. And then she left them with some advice. And then she said, I have something to ask of you. She said, I would be so honored if you would do this show again next year for somebody who needs it. And if you would name the show after me, and use my name on the show. Wow. And of course we said yes. And that was because we had no plans to do it again. But after that, we sure did.
I was reading the article in the Wenatchee World. All said and done, over 250,000 raised since the beginning.
We're over 260 now.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
In 21, yeah.
That is incredible. So who's managing? I guess I gotta find that part out about the bones of it. Who's managing that money? Is that held anywhere? Is it distributed out? How does that work each year?
Yeah, that runs right through our ASB account. It goes straight to our accounting office through Tammy Walters, and then she runs through the auditor on it obviously later in the year. But then we just cut a check and we go straight to the family, and it's 100%.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm going to have the ladies talk about the beneficiary of this year's talent show. By the way, it began last night and it runs through tonight and tomorrow at the Wenatchee High School Auditorium. We'll talk more with the girls about that. How much hands-on do you have, or do you have the ability to say, hey kids, take this and run with it?
They run with it, and this is the beauty of this show is in 21 years, James Wallace works with the technical aspect of the auditorium. I work with the management aspect out here, but this show has been entirely student-run for 22 years. They audition the acts, they make the set, what order the acts are going to go in, who's going to work backstage, do all the backstage work, they do the sound work, they do the promotion. This meeting was set up by a student, and I just kind of put fires out and clear the path for them if they need it, and James advises from the side. So he and I both kind of just watch it happen, but I think that's one of the remarkable things about the Janice Franz Talent Show is that students run it, and they take it from the top to the bottom. They do the whole thing.
That's fantastic.
It is. Yeah.
Of course, that's a sign of a good leader or manager. Is you find good people, you let them do their thing, nudge them once in a while if they need it, and that's about it.
They are good people. These kids know how to get things done, and their hearts are in the right spot too. They know why they're doing it. They always understand what they're doing and why they're doing it.
Fantastic. Well, we're going to take a quick break here on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, and when we come back, we will talk with Alex Toth and Lacey Wilson about the Janice Franz Talent Show. It's coming up next on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley here on the NCW Life Channel. Highlander Golf Course is proud to announce their 2 new state-of-the-art full-swing golf simulators with over 80 courses of virtual golf to choose from year-round. Or try their Laser Shot simulated firearm program, or gaming with football, basketball, and much more. Enjoy Highlander food and drink service from their full-service bar and grill in the comfort of their simulator room. Call the Highlander Pro Shop to book your time at 884-4653. That's 884-4653.
If you're stuck trying to find the perfect beer for you, look no further than Badger Mountain Brewing. We specialize in creating tantalizing craft beers that will soothe any picky taste buds and will satisfy your cravings. Check out everything from our amazing honey blonde that will appease even the most finicky taster, or a delicious frothy stout for dark beer lovers. Experience them all at Badger Mountain Brewing.
Thanks to the help I received at Goodwill,
I have a job. I'm working now. Thanks to Goodwill.
Thank you, Goodwill.
Thank you, Goodwill.
Thank you, Goodwill. Thank you, Goodwill.
Goodwill's Employment Connection Center is a free walk-in job search assistance program designed to get you back to work. When you donate to or shop at Goodwill, you're really helping people find work.
Thank you. Goodwill, there's more behind the store.
No, I am not Dan Kuntz. I'm Eric Granstrom, filling in for Dan Kuntz here on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley for this Thursday edition. And joining me to my left, we have Lacey Wilson and Alex Toth. They are students at Wenatchee High School. They're involved with ASB, but more importantly, and that's why they're here now, they're involved with the Janice Franz Talent Show. Ladies, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Although you didn't know you were coming in until like...
Yes.
So thank you for being willing and able to do this today. Tell me about, I want to know, first of all, how you came to know about the talent show, how you guys came to know about Janice, Franz, and all of that.
So we are on an activities team with our ASB, including a couple other people. And we have a coordinator, and it's just one of the events that we run. So we started it a couple months ago, I'd say. And yeah.
Yeah, and I've gone to the talent show in the past, and I love it. So I was really happy that we got to be a part of it this year.
So you're what year in school?
I'm a sophomore.
And you are? Okay, 2 sophomores. Okay, so, but you said you've gone to it before. Did you go before you were in high school?
Yeah.
So did you have older siblings that were involved or something? Or?
Yes, and then I just know some of the acts that are performing too, so I'd like to go see them.
Okay. Wow, 2 months of planning for this?
Yes.
Yeah.
So what goes into that before you get, you guys, again, they started last night. It's going to run tonight and again tomorrow at the Wenatchee High School Auditorium. Get you more information about tickets and about getting in and what time the show starts, things like that coming up. First of all, tell me about the 2 months getting ready for this. What did you guys do?
Okay, so first it's fundraising is a huge part of raising money for the beneficiary. So we have to get letters sent out to all the local businesses here, and then we follow up with calls saying, hey, what kind of sponsorship do you want? This is going to this specific person. It's for a great cause. And then we kind of await for like the money to roll in, and then that's kind of how it starts off first.
Okay. And you guys had targeted somebody, the beneficiary, before you started that process 2 months ago?
Yes.
Okay. Tell us about the beneficiary this year.
So it's a 9-year-old boy named Daniel Alvarez. He goes to school at Columbia, and he has brain cancer. He was diagnosed about 5 years ago, I think.
Yes.
And he's been through 6 surgeries, and has been through chemo twice, and it's just been a long.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, how did you learn about him?
We learned through a counselor at our school, because he has an older brother that attends the Wenatchee High School as well. And so the counselor knew that his little brother had cancer, and so we offered it up, and we're like, yeah, like we would love to talk to them, and they accepted. So yeah.
That's awesome. So obviously, I thought it was just ticket sales. More than that, it sounds like the majority of your fundraising comes through sponsorships. Then.
Definitely.
So did you guys set a goal on how much you want to raise, or?
Yes, this year we want to raise at least $12,000 for Daniel.
Wow, that's amazing. So how close are you? I mean, the show's here, so.
Yes, from sponsorships we have raised over $2,000. We've already hit that, and then once the shows are over, we count the money that we got from tickets and donations, and then that'll be our grand total.
So let's talk about the show itself. It's a talent show. What kind of talent and how many acts are we going to see when we go to the high school's auditorium?
Well, there's a big variety. There's singers, there's guitar players, there's piano players, there's dance groups from the community. What else is there?
There's a magic act,
there's
stand-up comedy, and I think that one's it. But it's huge. It's a lot of different stuff.
So now, Mr. Grothe said when they just started that 22 years ago now, they took everybody. So do you guys have a cut? I mean, how many people can you have at the talent show?
We didn't actually cut anybody, no. Yeah, we kind of arrange it by how many acts try out, so.
Okay. So then it's kind of preliminary last night and tonight and then a final on Friday? Is that how it works?
Yes.
Okay, so you have to make a cut to get to Friday to have a chance to be the winner?
Yes.
Yeah, we have a panel of judges, and they kind of decide that, and yeah.
Okay, all right. So we had a bunch of acts last night.
Yes.
A bunch of acts coming up tonight that didn't perform last night, right?
No.
Okay, and then we'll see who the winners are coming up on Friday. So where do we get tickets?
Tickets will be bought at the door in the auditorium, yes, and they're only $8.
Okay.
So you can just go in, buy your ticket, and then sit down and enjoy the show.
Starts at 7 o'clock.
Yes.
Okay, get there a little bit early.
Yeah.
And the show goes on no matter what with all the weather we've got this week and everything else?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, that's good. We'll knock on wood about that. Where can we find out more information? If people maybe can't come, but they want to help the cause, they want to donate, just write a big old fat check. How do they do that?
They can make it out to Wenatchee High School and make sure it is specifically to the Janice Franz Talent Show, because there's so many other things. But yeah, I think just send it to Wenatchee High School.
Okay, that's you, Mr. and Mrs. John Q. Public. You can just write a big fat check and have it go to benefit 9-year-old Daniel Alvarez, who is certainly got the battle that he's already fought and still has more to come. Well, ladies, thank you very much for all that you do. Good representation of our youth today. See, it's not all this millennial stuff and you got to worry about the future. We got these guys in charge, so don't worry about it. Thank you very much for taking
Thank
the time.
you.
You bet. There you go. Janice Franz Talent Show. You can search on Facebook, find out more about that. We've got some stuff on our website too, ncwlife.com. It's tonight, tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, Wenatchee High School Auditorium. Don't miss it. We'll come back with more next on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley for a Thursday.
Are you watching me? If you're watching me and you are a business owner in North Central Washington, your potential customers could be seeing your TV commercial right now. With Solion Broadcasting, TV advertising is effective and affordable. Place your ads on the network best suited to your potential customers or get top-of-mind awareness with 16 cable networks, including NCW Life, your local TV channel. Give Solion Broadcasting a call at 888-2020 today to see how easy and affordable it is to advertise on TV.
The Cottage Inn has been a Wenatchee Valley landmark since 1940, making it one of the longest-running locally owned restaurants around. And it's better than ever. Steak, seafood, and their famous homemade desserts for dinner, wonderful lunch items, and breakfast on Sundays, all made from scratch and at an affordable price. It's no wonder the Cottage Inn has been so popular for over 75 years. Enjoy a fabulous meal today at the Cottage Inn on Easy Street in Old Station.
Hey everyone, Fletcher and Amy Ellington here from Live It Up. In the investment world, ROI stands for Return on Investment. Well, how does better health, better wealth, and better relationships sound for ROI? Join us every week right here on NCW Life and learn how to invest in the most important asset, you.
We're going to answer your questions and provide some weekly inspiration so you can create a life that you love. Join us on Live It Up.
Wahoo, Wenatchee Valley, sale, sale, sale. Collins Super Sale has begun. All red tag sale items are 40 to 50% off with a great selection of jackets, vests, jeans, tees, tunics, dresses, leggings, boots, select Brighton jewelry and handbags. All scarves and gloves are 50% off. Too many items to mention. New spring fashions arriving daily. Time to start your preparing for spring trips at Collins, where fun meets fashion in downtown Wenatchee.
52 minutes past the hour here on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley for this Thursday edition. Thanks again to Brent Grothe, Lacey Wilson, Alex Toth for joining us here to talk about the Janice Franz Talent Show again tonight at 7 and tomorrow at 7 at Wenatchee High School Auditorium. Get your tickets at the door. Get out there and support a great cause and help that young man, young boy in the Wenatchee Valley who has definitely got a battle in front of him. The forecast, speaking of battling, here we go, battling the snow again. A 90% chance of snow in the forecast today. A winter storm warning in effect starting at 10 o'clock this morning, running until 4 o'clock tomorrow morning. So what's that math turn out to be? 17 hours of heavy snow expected with up to 7 inches here for the Wenatchee Valley. 30 are expected high today. Tonight's low down to 25. By the way, the record high yesterday was... our actual high yesterday was 27. The low was a record. We got down to 13 yesterday morning. That officially set the record here for the Wenatchee Valley. Record high for today, 59. That was set in 1971. The low record is 14, set in 1995. Looks like we're going to be above that low. Sunrise this morning earlier at 7:08. The sun will set tonight at 5:23. Now the extended forecast as we look ahead, more clouds and snow tomorrow. Should be letting up as the day progresses tomorrow and a little bit warmer tomorrow with a high of 35. Winds are expected light out of the northwest today, out of the south tomorrow. The accumulations possible tomorrow after midnight, maybe an inch or less. We'll see cloudy skies for the rest of the day into Friday night. Low temperatures tomorrow night down to 24. And then as we look at the weekend forecast, 20% chance of snow after 10 o'clock Saturday morning. A high temperature near 33. The wind's expected to be calm. Saturday night, 20% chance of snow, mostly in the early evening hours. Lows down to 22. And then on Sunday, we'll have partly sunny skies and a high of, well, it says here 31. That graphic says 27. We'll split the difference and say about 29. How about that? Extended forecast. Looking at cloudy skies again as we return to the work week next week. And high temperatures in the 20s, nighttime lows in the teens, and maybe a chance of snow returning. So that's your forecast. We are at 19 degrees in the Wenatchee Valley here this morning. As we check the mountain passes, a lot better than they were yesterday at this time because of the situation with the avalanche control work that was going on. And we'll talk more about that here in just a moment. Traction advisory this morning. Let me update my message so it's the same as what Megan is showing you here. Traction advisory at Snoqualmie Pass. Currently, it is 24 degrees at the summit, overcast skies, some gusty winds, areas of blowing snow at Snoqualmie. Nothing falling from the sky, but right now falling from the trees around, and that is causing some poor visibility in places. But Snoqualmie Pass, the good news is it is open both east and west on I-90 this morning with a traction advisory. Stevens Pass this morning has compact snow and ice on the roadway. Currently 19 degrees and overcast at the summit. A traction advisory is in effect there at Stevens, and looking at that photo, looks like it might be some blowing snow up at the top of Stevens Pass as well. So careful if you're driving this morning. Blewett Pass on US 97 has a traction advisory. Snow and ice on the roadway. Currently some light snow falling, 19 degrees, and that's the start of the system that is moving in here today with that winter storm warning in effect from the National Weather Service until 2 o'clock tomorrow morning. 4 o'clock tomorrow morning. So just be advised of that as you travel. Now, speaking of the snow and the impact of the snow, and it's all about layers. And if you get the right kind of layers, it's good. You get the bad kind of layers, not so good. Recent snowstorms increase the avalanche threat in the mountains. Matt Permono of the Northwest Avalanche Center conducted some tests that found what he described as spooky snowpack structure and even some natural lowland avalanches.
Hey guys, how's it going? This is Matt Permono with the Northwest Avalanche Center. Today I'm here at 1,950 feet on a northeast aspect, right above Wenatchee, on the Rooster Comb. Walked up a really low angle ridge. There's quite a bit of snow up here, 2 feet or even more on the ground in places. Started getting some whoops. One of them was actually a rumbling whoop. Quite surprising. Dug down to see what it was. Sure enough, there's a layer of large grained, sugary facets underneath all this new snow. So I'm going to perform an extended column test to demonstrate the propagation potential of this weak layer. All it took was just a few light taps from the wrist, and that thing propagated. PST 15 out of 100, went to the end. Man, sketchy.
Now, Permono says if you plan to go in the mountains or the foothills, this is avalanche terrain. Get the gear, get the forecast, get the picture, and travel wisely if you are heading into the mountains. That's for cross-country skiers, that's for snowshoers, that is for people riding snowmobiles. The conditions out there, not the greatest. You would think, you're good to go, you got all that snow. Well, underneath of it is the problem, as you saw there dramatically in that video footage. A couple of minutes before the end of the show here on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. It is Valentine's Day today, and it causes me to hearken back to high school. My senior year in high school, I was absolutely aflutter over a girl in high school. Her name was Amy. And on Valentine's Day, I spent my hard-earned money from working in Alaska in the summertime. Of course, I didn't spend it all on her, but I got a dozen roses, and brought that to school. First of all, I took it to the front desk and said, "Hey, this is for this person, and could you make sure they get them to her?" And they said, "No, we don't deliver." So that was kind of a harbinger of things to come as far as my Valentine's Day back in 1986. So I had to try to find her. School's about over for the day. I'd taken my lunch to go down and get the flowers, and walked up the hallway, and I still vividly remember this. Here she comes walking down the hallway with another guy. And here I'm standing here like a dork with a dozen roses. So I dejectedly shuffled my way out the front of the high school. Down the steps I went to my car, put the flowers in the trunk of my car, drove home, and gave them to my mom. She really appreciated them. She thought it was awesome that she got flowers because Dad didn't get her any. But it was still a hard pill to swallow on that day all those years ago. But now I'm in love with my Marion. She's the most awesome person in the world. And all she wants for Valentine's Day is a handmade card. I'm working on it, honey. I'll get that to you a little later on. That's going to do it for this edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Have a good Thursday. Be safe out there. And we'll see you again tomorrow on a Finally Friday.